We're here with Tim Sakahara with the Department of Transportation.
Thanks, Lila, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I am the Communications Director for the Hawaii Department of Transportation, the spokesperson basically, representing all 15 airports, 10 commercial harbors, 2,500 lane miles across the state, and all 2,600 employees of the department that are dedicated to keeping the state moving forward.
Basically, what does your job as communications officer entail?
If you count just Honolulu International Airport alone, there's really, in most areas or airports across the country, there's a whole communications team just for that one airport. But I'm responsible for speaking on behalf of all 15 airports, 10 harbors, and all the highways in the state, separated by an ocean on all the islands as well. But really, we tried to get across that the State Department of Transportation is doing a lot of positive things across all departments, the airports, highways, and harbors, trying to modernize the facilities, make the airports. If anyone goes to the Honolulu International Airport right now, they're bound to see construction in one area, if not multiple areas, from the time they park to the time they get to the gate and things. So there's a lot going on, and we try to convey those messaging and those efforts.
So I was quite astounded to see all the machinations, I guess, at the airport, but also on the streets. You know, that we get so upset about how the condition of the streets, but there's more involved, and it's not just taxpayer money.
You're absolutely right. In fact, thanks for bringing that up, because it's true. There is kind of a misconception. With the Department of Transportation, it is kind of run like a business, if you will, in the fact that the revenue we bring in is self-sustaining. We don't get money from the general fund. So people and their income taxes, let's say, that money does not come to the Department of Transportation. Instead, it's all generated by revenue from user fees. So airports, like the airlines and landing fees, renting out space, parking concessions. On the highways division, money comes from things like when you register your vehicle and the weight fees and the fuel tax. So if people don't own a vehicle or they don't buy gas, they're not paying actually for the highway system. Same thing with harbors as well. That's funded by tariffs, wharfage fees, rental space, leases, and things like that. So it's not the traditional taxpayer money. And so we have to go and generate that in order to pay for those improvements. We still have to go to the legislature to get approval to spend that money. But it's not traditional taxpayer money.
And there is some confusion also from, I think, the public's perspective on which is a county road, which is a state road. Basically, you're all working together.
We know from the driver's perspective, they don't really much care if it's a county road or state road. They just want it fixed. And that's understandable, because people want to drive on those smooth surfaces. It is one of those reasons why we did go to the legislature this session to try to get an increase in some of those user fees, some of which have only been raised 4 times since statehood. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So the focus on the highway specifically is system preservation versus the large capacity projects. What does that mean? System preservation means trying to maximize what we already have, make it better, try to expand it, build shoulder lanes, restripe to get more lanes with existing infrastructure, rather than spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to build new roads, which takes years to happen and goes through environmental clearances and things. If we can't maintain and operate the roads we have now, there's no sense building new roads. So we want to take what we already have and maximize it to its fullest capability.
You must get excited when you just walk around town or arrive in airports, because you know that every form of transportation is within your touch.
Yeah, it's true. We directly impact every person, visitor or resident in the state every single day in one way or another, with either through airports, highways, or harbors, or the goods and services that they're buying and producing are all going there by the Department of Transportation. So yeah, and I understand people, having that impact, we have a big attention focus on people. If I could snap my fingers and get the road fixed instantaneously, we'd all be billionaires and I'd be great. Unfortunately, there is work that has to be done. I promise, we do try to do it in the least impactful way to the
and
consumer.
If your enthusiasm is part of the energy repairs, we're in good shape. Thank you for joining us. Tim Sakahara with the Department of Transportation. Thank you so much.